That's right. We're back, Bravehearts. Okay, so all I'm going to say is good morning, good afternoon, and good evening all around the world because we are all around the world. We're DocStar TV, and today it's cancer and mushroom immunity. Okay, first of all, I'm going to tell you this. Sometimes you get lucky. I know I say that you don't get lucky, you make luck. But the reality is sometimes you get so lucky. You know, it was about 2 years ago, and I came across Oliver, and Oliver approached me, and he said, would you like to take a look at this? And I have to be very honest, okay, with you, Oliver. People approach me like a few times a week with new products, and they do, a few times a week, all right? And the reality is, it's about every 2 years or 3 years, I'll actually bring on a product because I have to bring it on because this product is so special. And if you take a look out there, there are so many products that do the same things. And there are products that actually don't hardly do anything at all, okay? And the reality is the money actually in the product? Is the quality there? Is the science there? Because people deserve to have the science. And I'm talking about real science. Anyways, I'd like you, Oliver, to talk about your mother today. And a lot of people will talk about their mother or family member until the cows come home and keep using it. But this is a totally phenomenal story. And the reality is, everyone, I want you to know, and please don't get me wrong, I know that cancer exists, but I don't really believe in cancer. I believe cancer is due to inflammation and the degradation of the immune system. That's what I believe. And I believe that everything, right from a pimple to a tumor, is created from inflammation, scar tissue formation, calcification, and it's that whole wrapped up thing. And I don't believe that cancer is more than a symptom of ineffective therapy and a bunch of practitioners that don't know what the heck they're doing. And they've been programmed that way to feed a monster out there called Cancer Corporation, called Pharmaceutical Corporation, called Food Corporations. We can go further with this, but I don't want to. The reality is we're here with really unbelievable news. And I would like to call this this week and next week is our Black Friday sale. And I'd like to call this Mushroom Madness in a way because this is madness. I'm going to give you, not me, but Oliver's going to give you some science, some stats, and actually what other mushroom products actually are able to do, how they're grown, and why they're different. And we're not putting them down. I'm not putting them down. But understand something. We're talking about Thundershrooms being 30 to 90 years old. We're not talking about them being 2 weeks old, grown in a laboratory where sometimes the bottle and the packaging costs more than the product that goes inside. And I'm not saying that's with everything, but you're never going to find another product, a mushroom product, that is dedicated to the immune system. And I really don't believe that you're going to find another product that can flip switch the immune system as fast as this. And I know people think that I'm full of it sometimes and I'm making stuff up, but I don't. Okay? We have people that are walking out of hospice that were given an expiry date where the family drove them there and said, well, this is it. This is your last pit stop. And I'm not going to do it today because I don't want to do the story thing. I want to do the science thing and tell you that you've never taken anything so powerful when it comes to immunity as these Thundershrooms. And you know what? Do you know how I feel being a practitioner? And I've got this in my bag of tricks, but it's no trick. And it's no miracle. It's based on science, on how it triggers the immune system to just wake up and flip switch and come around so very quick. And yeah, it's one of my most expensive products. But the reality is how much is your life worth? How much is your mother worth, your father worth? How much are you worth? A lot of people aren't worth more than the nickel 95 because we've been taught to disrespect ourselves. And guess what? Do you know why we need Thundershrooms? We need thunder shrooms because nobody incorporates a perfect day. They treat their life like a bloody Visa card, and they're continually spending it away, spending their immune system away, spending it away, spending it away, because they follow the majority. And the majority is being harvested right now. And you may not believe this, but I believe that we could have about 25 to 30% of the population exodus, okay, by 2032. And you're going, well, I don't believe you. Well, I'll be around because I do look after myself, and I'll be around for you to tell me I was wrong. And I want to be wrong. But all the stats aren't telling that anymore, because the reality is that obesity is through the roof. Being overweight is through the roof. Diabetes, 85% of the population is pre-diabetic. 1 out of 2 people get cancer. 60% of the population gets heart disease. Okay, we just overlapped a whole bunch of things. We're not even talking about the minor things. And all of these things were messages of love from your body at a long time ago that told you you weren't in alignment. And because you went to practitioners that were actually programmed to believe in drugs, or they didn't do therapies that actually worked. You know, I'm going to tell you something right now. In 6 weeks to 3 months, you go on any protocol with any condition, you're going to see changes in your body on our protocols. Now, that's what I'm talking about. You know, if you're doing something and you've been doing it for like 6 to 9 months and you can't see any alterations happening, and I'm not telling you that we do cures. We don't cure anyone. We just harmonize and align the body back to where it is, and we replace what was stolen from people that are unconscious of the decisions they make, or they're even conscious of it, but they don't even care for themselves because we've been taught not to love and care for ourselves. What do you think, Oliver?
I had to write down a few notes of a couple of things you said because I want to actually come back on them. So it's really good that we have a few sessions this week, I believe.
Yeah, we do. We have a few sessions with Oliver, because when you're dealing with the world's, and I mean this, unless somebody wants to give me a call and tell me I'm wrong, when you're dealing with the world's most powerful immune enhancer, and how can I say this? It brings it back to life. Oh my God, she has no immune system.
It's like the paramedics in a sense. It's like the personal coach, the trainer, the drill sergeant, and I think it's good we have a few sessions because there's so much to get through, and I want to share the story about my mother, which is how you and I met. But also, I do want to get into the science and leave people with a few key points so they know why exactly is Thunder Shroom special, why is it unique in the market, and why is it unique even in the world of medicinal mushrooms? Why does it stand out? And just quickly, what you said about other mushrooms, mainly a lot of it has to do with how quickly they're prepared and how almost naively they are prepared. Maybe someone will just yank it out of the plastic bag, blend it up, and put it in a bottle. But it would be sort of like trying to milk a male cow for milk. It's like you're doing the wrong thing from the wrong species to get the wrong result. And we even have, I've gone through dozens of studies which have these cross species studies of different mushrooms, and many of them are done in a way that's like, if we use this preparation, it yields immunosuppressive action, and this way it does boosts the immune. So, shuts down the immune or boosts the immune. So a lot of the research is still really inconclusive about, I would say inconclusive. The way it's presented in the marketplace is inconclusive. But the way we've approached medicinal mushrooms in Asia for 60 years is we've already done that study. We know.
For how many years? How many years?
For 60 years. Let's say, it's been around in traditional medicine for thousands of years. The first record of it was 2,000 years ago, and it was known as the mushroom of immortality. It was the mushroom that they said, if you have a dying man, you find the golden lump on the side of the tree, and that will bring him back to life. So that's the old poem. And they didn't, of course, thousands of years, they don't know what's the mechanism of action. They can't explain to you today how I'm going to explain the science of what makes the mushroom so perfect for boosting your body's natural cancer defenses.
Right.
They didn't know why it works. They just observed that, hey, this helps. Let's keep it, and record how we use it.
Yeah.
So about 60 years ago is when it really got its first modern scientific research done by the Japanese about what makes it so good for healing people who've been exposed to radiation after the World War II atomic bombs. So they use that.
I hope everybody's getting this. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I want you to understand something. We're talking about going in and anybody that's gotten radiation, whether it was back then or you got radiation when you went to get the so-called therapy for treatment at the hospital. When you get radiation, it sits in you, okay, like a sleeping animal, and it just sits there quietly. And then guess what? As your immune system comes back, okay, so does the problems. Because if you think that you can cut poison and burn things out, good luck with that one. I mean, statistics prove it. But the reality is this. It's like you took the radiation, you put it into a container, and you threw it to the bottom of the ocean, and you didn't think the salt water was going to rust out the barrel.
The amazing thing with that is that we look at the causes of. We'll go back and look at the causes of cancer and how does it even begin? How does it start? And it's a message that has been corrupted, and the message has been corrupted to tell cells that they should do something other than what they're supposed to do. And where does that corruption of the message come from? Where does that bad influence come from? Radiation. So radiation, we can see it from UV, we get UV exposure, we get cigarette, all kinds of things sorry, not cigarettes, but UV exposure gives us radiation, right? And all other forms of radiation, they are basically the corrupter of the message of our immune system. So we then go to get radiation as a therapy to treat the thing that is also a cause for later on. So this in and of itself, or if we use chemotherapy, we use a toxic bomb to wipe out all all healthy cells and all terrorist cells, all the cancer cells. But as we know that if you bomb the terrorists and the government, which had trouble containing the terrorists, if you bomb them both, probably the terrorists are going to come back first and faster. And it's the same way with cancer cells, because a cancer cell is a cell that has chosen to not live in harmony with the rest of the body. It's not playing on the same team, it's playing for itself. And the cancer cell does that. It's not a malicious cell, it's just doing it as a form of survival.
It's in survival technique, and that's what people say. I'm a 2-time, 3-time cancer survivor, and we got to get away from that. And the reality is this. If you look at what do you think when you say cancer? Well, you think about this. It's a death sentence. Well, what do they do when they try to get rid of cancer? They try to kill cancer. And what you want to do is you want to bring the body back into harmony and in alignment. Wouldn't that be something if we did that? You can't go in and kill something in the body and not kill other things. It just doesn't make any sense. You're losing your hair, you're losing your teeth, you're losing your eyesight, you can't even think straight. I mean, that is called a healing. I don't think so.
The really ironic thing is that nowadays you type in Google search engine, just say like new therapy 2023 cancer immune cell, just like those keywords. And what it will do is it will tell you, wow, there's this brand new technology which is going to boost your NK cells, and take these NK cells, spin them out, put them in blah blah blah, and the therapy is really unproven. We don't know yet how well it's going to work. We don't really know yet what's the uptake, and it's very expensive, it's very rare, you got to get on the waiting list, got to fly to Germany, whatever it is, all these things, right? What's that therapy trying to do is replicate nature's most perfect cancer destroyer, which is already in our body. It's called the natural killer cell. It's one of the 2 main cancer fighting cells in our body.
Right.
So there's this trio, this dream team of 3 cells. You've got the B cell, which goes around and kind of shines a flashlight. Then you've got the T cell, which looks for all cells to show their membership card. If the membership card is not the right one, T cell zaps it. And then T cells, it's efficient zapper, but it's very easy to get a fake ID. It's very easy to go down the alley, get a little, you can write a fake ID on pen, and sometimes the T cell is a little bit slow. They might accept it. They might say, okay, nothing wrong with this cell.
And we're talking about the cloak that cancer puts on itself to pretend that it's a frenemy and it's your enemy.
Yes, it's a frenemy. it gets a fake ID, it shows
Yeah.
it to the T cell, and T cells, okay, nothing moving along, but there's another cell. So we have the 3 cells, the B cell, the T cell, and of course the NK cell. The NK cell says, show me your ID. Hang on, I don't have an ID, or I left my ID. No questions, bang, down right away. The NK cell takes it out, no excuses, no patience, no tolerance. If the ID is a little bit frayed, if it's blurry, if the corners are wet, no acceptance, no tolerance, you're out. And that is the most perfect, efficient, ruthless, cancer cannot survive that. So why is cancer flourishing in modern human existence? Is it that the cancer cells have gotten better, or is it that these elite, perfectly designed, evolution's most perfect cancer destroyer are sleeping on the job? And it's the second one. Of course, cancer's been around since the beginning of time, and so has our NK cells. But somehow, one's gotten stronger and one's gotten weaker, or both have happened. And this is where we go in with the mushroom. And this is why we talk about why specifically this mushroom. Why can't I just go and eat button mushrooms or eat shiitake mushrooms and portobello mushrooms and wake up my body's natural immune cells? Because fungus are, there's 9 million species of fungus on Earth. There's the diversity between them. Each species has its own.
There's
compounds.
how many different species on Earth?
9 million.
9 million mushroom species.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, got it.
And I mean, there's different ways of counting them. Some people say there's hundreds of millions, depending on, let's say, the big families like that.
You know what? We're going to have to get rid of some of these mushrooms because there's no room for them on the planet.
Well, that's what they do. Actually, finally, you mentioned that. What they do is
I'm talking about people and mushrooms.
They get rid of the other stuff we leave on the planet. So when we die, the mushrooms are the thing that breaks down dead bodies, carcasses, everything, and it returns those nutrients into the soil, which is why mushrooms can survive for eternity. Because if they're doing a good job with their host, they feed their host, the host gives them somewhere to live, the mushrooms can live for a very long time. And our mushrooms too, which is why when you said the mushrooms that are going to thundershrooms are 30 to 90 years old, because that's the age we know they become really medically effective. If you wanted to have a bull impregnate your cows, you would wait till the bull is of a certain age before you set him free. In the same way that if you're going to be harvesting or extracting compounds from a mushroom for medicine, for this specific mushroom that thundershrooms is made from, they need to be 30 years or older. And that's where the compounds come out, which boost your human body's NK cell and T cell and B cell activity. So just the right mushroom from the right preparation in the right dose is what makes up the wake-up call to your body's immune cells, to your body's natural cancer defenses.
Can I butt in for just a second, just so everybody knows? Let's set it. So we've got here critical care thundershrooms, 90 years old. We got vital care thundershrooms, 30 years old. And then I'm sure you'll get into what the difference is later. Okay.
Yes. So for both of the formulas are made from the same mushroom, but they're different extraction methods, which yield different amounts of compounds in each formula. So for most people who are watching the show specifically with cancer in mind, then we're talking more on the area of critical care, because critical care is a stronger dose, a stronger formula, and it's really more for taking faster action to let your body know, hey, something's on fire, something's going wrong, sort it out. Whereas VitaLife is sort of like your daily jog, your daily stretching that you might do to preserve your healthy immune cells. So when we really want to focus on people who maybe have cancer in the family, or they've been told they have early stage inflammation, and of course you mentioned earlier, so much of cancer really is indistinguishable from inflammation, serious inflammation. In fact, there are many cancers we don't necessarily classify them, but we sort of treat them in the same way as a high-grade inflammation, such as prostatitis. So prostate, as high as stage 3 can be actually just an inflamed prostate. A lot of these small organ cancers can just be severe inflammation, and they look exactly the same as cancer would. So in that regard, there's no real difference from a cellular level between a non-cancerous inflammation and a cancerous inflammation, in the sense that they're both big and growing and impacting your overall health, and they're both being triggered by an immune system that is pouring oil on the fire.
And if I can say this, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to the medical system, but so many times they call it wrong. They call it wrong. I got to say this to everyone. If you don't have a life-threatening critical situation, then don't treat it that way. Oh yes, you've got a chronic problem. Maybe they called it cancer. But the reality is you've got to watch how fearful you make your decisions. That's all.
I mean, just in the past, 15 minutes we've been talking, you and I have killed many, many cancer cells. And our body has had cells that said, I don't want to do my job today. I feel like doing something else. And then the T cells and the NK cells said, hey, no, you're not. Bye. And, in the past 15 minutes, that's happened a lot, many times in both of our bodies. And if we're sitting here fearful of, like, oh my God, someone told me something I have, that's really going to impact how well my body's able to keep clearing out these cells that are going to be coming up no matter what anyone tells me. So we really need to focus on keeping the body's natural defenses primed, trained, ready to do its best job. And I think that's a great way to lead into how we found the mushroom through my mother, which is that she had nose cancer, and they zapped her with radiation as well as chemotherapy, despite the fact that any type of head and neck cancer is it's not standard issue to do chemo and radiation. It's usually one or the other. But in our medical system, which is in Singapore, they quickly signed her up for signed her up for the 6-month course, like the 1 month, the 2 month, the 6 month, the elite gold pack, sign her up as many as we can shoot her full. So she had like 6 months of treatments, burning, poisoning one day, poisoning followed by the burning. The next day was burning followed by the poisoning. And then, they like to switch up the order sometimes. But either way, both of the treatments were really destructive. And when she was finished, her immune cell count was really low. And that in itself becomes as life-threatening as the cancer. When they finish nuclear bombing your immune system, and they say, oh, your white blood cell count is below 3, this is critical. And well, why is it below 3? Well, because it just zapped it full of chemotherapy. So, okay, well, fair enough. But how do we bring it back? If you're over 55, it's very difficult. And for immune cell regeneration after a certain age, it just gets slow, gets difficult. And where was you said earlier in the call, the flip of the switch? What was the switch flipping moment? I'd been with my mom for like 3-4 months after her treatments were finished. We were also happy that, she had a great result from them and all this. But her quality of life was still a 4 out of 10. Her energy was like a 3 out of 10. Even months later, we got her on juicing, detox, like full natural therapies, protocols, everything. And at best, it increased her from like a 3 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10, or maybe a 5 out of 10 after several months.
Right. And that was hardcore work. Hardcore.
Really hard effort. Like we tried like bee venom, and like I took time off work with full-time juicing and all this kind of stuff. We really made a go of it. And the progress was so minuscule. And then when we discovered the mushrooms, we just threw a chance to a friend, said, you know what, I heard this thing that really helped a friend of mine. Why don't you fly to Thailand and check it out? So we did. We went there, and cut a very long story short, within the first day of her taking it, she went from being a 5 out of 10 to like an 8 out of 10, same day. So after months of inching forward, and then one day she would just relapse and she'd have really bad sinuses, and by 4 p.m. she'd have a headache and want to be out for the rest of the day. From inching forward for 6 months to just flipping the switch, same day, and within a week she was consistently at a 7 or 8 out of 10 every day within a week. And so we said, okay, this is something special. And that's actually what started my whole journey on the passion to discover about health. And that's what started me on my Masters of Anti-Aging and to learn more about these topics. But really, to see her switch like that, to go from basically a casualty of an immune nuclear war to thriving within a week was really undeniable. So everybody,
if it's okay with you, I just want to tell everybody, it wasn't for waste that they did all this work. they were in there creating a foundation, but it was very slow. If the mushrooms would have been in there with the juicing and all of that, it would have been, and we've already proved it. Well, I mean, since you brought the Thunder Shrooms to me, and we started working with that with our chronic and critical patients, clients, you see all the difference, you know. Everyone, I'll just tell you, you know, even with people that weren't in a critical state, we're looking at 6 to 12 a day, and it's called front end loading. You've got to front end load these things. You know, you can, listen to me, and I mean this in the best way, but you can go to 99% of the health practitioners and they'll play Inky Dinky Schnitzel House with you. You know, I would rather we don't stretch it out for months and months and years, and we take that and we concentrate it and we front end load at the beginning, because we have to flip the switch on cancer. And that means it's a frequency, it's a signal. You know, I can try to reach that switch over here to turn the light off. My arm is not long enough. And I can stretch all I want, but if I can't get off the chair and turn that light off, I'll be here all night. So what happens is practitioners will give a 5-foot ladder for a 20-foot hole. And I don't care. You can climb that ding-dang ladder 4 or 5 times. You're not out of the hole. You just keep thinking you're getting out. I think I'm getting better. But when you front end load and you go hardcore, and I'm telling you that 6 weeks to 3 months, you have to go front end load in hardcore. And if you do that, you're going to spend less money and you're going to pull yourself out of the hole. If you don't do enough and change that frequency, everything is a program. Everything's a program, even down to the mitochondrial level. It's all a program. And all programs are switched off by creating a different frequency, which creates a different program or a different belief system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing with basically is that you have to retrain your body to recognize to do its function as it was trained to do. And so we interfere. So when you front load something like that, it's the other double benefit is that when you're making the effort to change your diet, your lifestyle, you're making all these efforts, you need to see some progress from that effort. So if you what did you call it, dicky wicky your way along and get piecemeal in your effort, but your emotional effort is all front loaded. You're making all your changes and you're doing your mirror work, everything, but you're not front loading the things you're putting in your body. You're going to get frustrated. You get delayed results, delayed progress, and then maybe you give up. Right?
And
so
here's the thing. Most natural health practitioners are not taught in this way. And you know what? And the patient, the client, the patient, whatever you want to call them, they believe because they're doing more than other cancer patients or other people with their condition, because they're doing more, that it's going to be enough. And understand something, and I want everyone to get this. You can think that I'm just trying to make money off the backs of people, or you can know that we've learned something in 40 years. We've learned, for one thing, okay, in the last 10 years, that everything has become 300% harder to turn around. And I don't need to go into why the details are, from the blue light to the EMF to the COVID and everything else, and the trauma, the war here, the war there, the financial this, the financial that. But the reality is that I'm going to tell you something right now. Just because if you come to me, I'm going to go, if I was in your shoes, this is what I believe you need to do. And then you're going to go, okay, I don't. I'm going to go, just know that I gave this to you and I told you this. So that when you get going here, and whether you want to believe this or not, I'm a smart practitioner. I know what I'm doing, and I'm really good at this. This is not about arrogance. This is about, you know what, you want to play in this field at all, and you can't help it. We're not looking to go, come on, cancer patients, come on, stage 4. That's not what we want. We want to be teaching healthy people how to stay healthy. It is not an easy job and a terrible way to make money, okay? Going to get money from cancer patients or people that are in critical condition, because the family will come back, or the person will, because we need everyone to have faith in their healing and to understand that guess what? The reason why things don't work is because we're selling the ladder too short.
Daryl, that's actually a good point. I maybe never really mentioned this, but why we work together, one other thing is that it's important for me personally to get the product at this level to more people around the world, because it really sucks to help people at a difficult point. It's so much more fun to help people when it's still
It's all I
easy to be
want.
helped.
I don't want the other. And guess what? How much did this take out of you and your father? How much did this take out of you and your father? I listen. I'm not discounting the hell your mother went through, but the hell that your family goes through. You know, and I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get back on track. But you know what? This is really important. You know, when people always say they don't have enough time or they don't have enough money, and then they always do a few months later, and then it's like, wow, now we've got such a deep hole. I don't even know if they sell a ladder that long. And I'm not kidding.
This sadly has happened more times than I can count, which is that the conversation happens first time and then it happens again second time many months or years later, but the conversation is a different conversation. It really happens a lot, way too often than I would like it to. So it's important that we do these shows, Daryl, get the message out, get people to take action now. And the other great benefit of working with you, which is a bit different from how we do the mushrooms in Asia, which is that you really focus on people taking action. So the mileage they're going to get from the thundershrooms is better than how people who would just buy it in Asia without taking action. You know, if they just take the capsule by itself, good effect. But if you take it plus taking massive personal action, then it's a great effect, a really life-changing, switch-flipping effect.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, now I'll let you get back on track. Okay, I did what I needed to do. Okay.
Okay, I want to leave a few key signs, just remind a few key points, and I don't want to run on too long with the science stuff, but really we have to just remember that when we're talking about thundershrooms, we're talking about helping the body's most perfect cancer cells to do their function, to wake up, to take off the camouflage of the cancer cell, to spot the cancer cells, and to basically allow your body to do its job. This is all programmed in your body from birth, but the programming has been corrupted. And so what the mushroom is doing is fixing the program, and then the program tells the cells, hey, get to work, you go to work over here, you go to work over there, and then things are starting to work as a unit again, and which is the opposite of what cancer cells, which is a cell that wants to work, they want to leave the band, they want to go solo, and the mushrooms help to bring them back. Or if they don't want to come back, they take them out for a drive and have a chat in the car with them.
And they take them off to Death Valley.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to get too complicated, because people are going to get hung up on the scientific words and what exactly.
Yeah.
The compounds of the names of the compounds of the mushroom, they're very long, and it doesn't really benefit you to know whether it's hispidin or hispidin, which is the name of the different specific things that come out which help to stimulate the anti-cancer cell activity. But it's the natural message which stimulates all this stuff, and we're talking about 2 to 3 to 5 to 6 times measured cellular activity of the NK cell and the T cell. This is done by studies in Japan and Korea, which has measured the NK cell activity inside patients after taking the mushroom, and measured to be, in some cases, 2 to 3, and in some cases as high as 5 to 6 times active. Not only active, but it's the number of cells as well as the overall activity of the cells. So it's increasing the cell count and increasing the activity of the cells. And these are measured in human studies, in human patients. We're not talking about in a lab, in a petri dish. So these are measured anti-cancer cell activities in
real
humans.
studies, real people.
Real people. So we're focusing on the NK cell, the T cell, and to a lesser extent the B cell, which is like the flashlight. So the B cell is the flashlight, and then it shines, and the T cell either kills, or the NK is the one that doesn't kill. But all these together are boosted by specifically thundershrooms and this formulation of thundershrooms. They are not so boosted by many other medicinal mushrooms, which are often even used in Chinese medicine. And our world is very much very overlapping with the Chinese medicine world. But even in that lexicon, their understanding is still very outdated, and many of the mushrooms they use are for the wrong purpose, or they're not prepared in the right exact way. So that's why I said that even 60 years ago, we have a higher modern understanding of specifically what mushroom, in what formulation, in what age, because maybe 500 years ago, generally this group of mushrooms prepared kind of in this way was kind of good enough. But now we're talking about medicines, and I mean, in Japan and Korea, you can get insurance paid for mushroom medicine as a cancer patient. It's given to you as an adjuvant therapy when you have chemotherapy, because they know that the anti-inflammatory properties of maitake mushroom, which grows in Japan, this brings down the vomiting, the nausea, all the things that are associated with chemotherapy. It brings down those symptoms whilst boosting the immune system recovery. So these are already given as accepted, like insurance paid for, above board, doctor signed adjuvant therapies. These are all mushroom extract derivatives.
Yeah, but
so
if I can say this, the corruption is nowhere worse than where I am, and that's in United States. I mean, United States, we actually eat 50% of all prescription drugs made in the world in one country.
Is it only 50? I would have even thought it's more, because there's so many drugs that...
Oh, for God's sakes, please give us a break. Come on. I could be wrong, but 50's enough, because that's what you get. That's why you get walking zombies.
There's so many things which people are having huge volumes in the States, which I've never even heard of, and it's like someone's created the demand for this. Someone's created an issue and created this as a solution to create himself a nice bonus. So we don't want to get into those. That's not part of the world we want to operate. We want to operate with empowering people to let their body do what it's designed to do. And it sounds so simple, but it's not easy, because there's so many things that get in the way.
Well, this is the biggest time in history where everything wants to pull us away, okay, from nature. And the more we pull away from nature, the more sicker we're going to get. Like, this is my third show today. And if I don't put these Teslas on, my eyes are going to look like burnt out raisins by the end of I have to wear these Teslas. The blue light would have just killed me. The reality is that you have to protect yourself. There's so many things that we have to do. You really have to be on guard. I mean, talk about a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure. My father and his father had to do less. They didn't have to go, okay, today it's like, okay, at every corner, you got to really know your stuff.
Yep, you really. It's not just in health; it's in all aspects of life now.
It is
the way of life.
It is. You know what?
That's why we're blessed to be able to share the really helpful thing in this aspect with Thundershrooms. And now that being, Black Friday is really the great time. We've talked about front loading, even for people you may or know who have family history or who are in that post. After all cancer is treated, there's a very high window of risk in 3 to 5 years post, when the immune system is really still trying to find its feet again. And so this is a great time to get in with the Thundershrooms as well, even if the biggest threat has passed. During as well, when people go for chemo and radiation, it's really helpful to reduce the symptoms and also support. If you take the mushroom during chemo, it's possible that the chemo will be more effective and achieve the results faster, requiring a lower dose of chemo, which would mean that overall less poison is needed to, do the thing. And then your healthy cells would have less to overcome after it's done.
Yeah, and I get it, okay? Thundershrooms are one of the most expensive products that we sell. But you know what?
Yep.
I had today people call up and say, look, I just purchased a year's supply. And I said, I get it. They're expensive. But you know what? When you do the science and you find out how hard it is to find them, how hard it is to produce them, all the research that goes behind them, it's all justified. It's justified.
Yeah, and I think this makes a great point, which is that because they when we have sales like this and people who are very committed to their health and they want to put aside the budget, it's a really good opportunity to stock up and plan your protocol, because they don't expire. I mean, okay, we have to by law put an expiry date on them. But in nature, they grow as old as that. We have some 2,600 years old in the lab. So they don't expire. Nature, they're made, and that's why they're the mushroom of immortality, because they have the anti-aging, anti-expiry inside them. But we have to put a sticker on the box, right, for commercial purposes. So, but my point is that you can stock up. It's never a bad thing to have extra.
And if I can say this, you know what? There are other mushrooms that do other things that are way better for that than thunder shrooms. Thunder shrooms have this one thing, and it's called, if you want your immune system back, okay? All right? This is the one you go with. And again, I would like any practitioner or doctor or patient to really do their homework. Do your homework on this. You know, once you can actually sell yourself with real truth and knowledge, that is what we call faith, not hope I get well. You know, that's it. We've got to have faith in things. If you're ever going in to say, well, I hope the shrooms work, I don't want you to buy them. I don't. It's not good.
Yeah.
You need to.
They won't work for you, probably.
Yeah, you need to.
They probably won't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the main reasons why also when we first discovered it, and I met the founder, and who was basically, it's his life. A holy man gave him the mission to make these mushrooms. Basically, it's a very different story for another time. But when I said, do you have any research? He gave me a stack of research like as big as my head. I mean, half of it was in Chinese and Japanese and hasn't been translated to English, which also says a lot about how much do we really care in the Western world about, you know, we just assume that if it's not written in English, it must not exist, the knowledge must not be there, let alone the fact that there's like thousands of papers written in Japanese and Korean and Chinese about different mushrooms and different compounds and extracts, like very specific compounds that are identified. So when I got through that, that's what gave me the faith to say, Mom, we need this mushroom for you. Not just 1, 2, 3 months, we need 3 years. The window of weakness is 3 years after your thing. Let's just, Dad, come on, let's do it. Let's find a way. And, you know, and so that was, you know, we're lucky the family could pull together to do this type of action. But really, when you spend the time to go through it, you build the faith, and you know that it's the right action when you combine it with your other personal action and to get the results.
I hear you. Let's talk about your mother, though. You know, when she came to Ixtapa, she was out of the fire, but she was still healing. I want to talk about how when we put her on an advanced water fast and we went hardcore on the thunder shrooms, the radiation came out and it looked like it was going to eat her nose away, but her nose healed, didn't it? But it was kind of scary. It was scary.
It's very scary. It was like just oozing.
Holes in her nose, the radiation coming out of the sides of here and her nose where they radiated her. And how many years was that after the radiation?
That's like 3 years. No, 4, 5 years already. After.
Yeah, so an advanced water fast. So we've got her on about 5 other different things, plus she was hitting herself with those thunder shrooms. I had 12 or 24 a day. Yep, and then she comes to me and she comes to the office and goes, look at this. And I'm going, okay, we can't lose it here, because guess what? That's the radiation coming out and you will heal.
Yeah, and it's crazy that we use that. It's the cause, but it also is the solution somehow. And so when she really was wasted a little bit from that effort, and when I flew in with extra dose mushroom, switched again back on track, and she was from a state where she couldn't walk from the water fast and all the healing crisis, let's say breakthrough she was going through from not walking. And then when I came in with the extra mushrooms, she was walking the next day. We were walking down for dinner after the beach in 2 days and doing yoga. So it was very, very dramatic. I think the changes that we've seen together with her as well. So it's really, when you combine it with the massive personal action, when you combine it with the other protocols, and you combine it with stopping the toxic input in your life that's causing the cells to go wrong, or causing the cells to attack each other, then you really can get very powerful results.
If I can say this, there's a few people asking where they're going to get the information. If you go into my library, Okay, you are going to get all this information in the Thundershroom guide. It's all there. All the studies are there, aren't they? The information's there. It's plain as black and white to you. Okay.
Yeah, and just to be clear, that the scientific name of the mushroom species is Felinus. It's Phellinus. Felinus. It's not shiitake. It's not maitake. It's not reishi. It's not cordyceps. It's not black hoof. It's not basically. It's not any of the ones you see on iHerb. And whilst they all have their place in health, when we're talking about immunotherapy, I'm very confident because we have the research which actually compares all the different mushrooms and their NK cell boosting activity, compares their antioxidant activity. In Asia, this is a market. This is a multi-billion-dollar market, medicinal mushrooms. They're not going to be selling cordyceps as the immune boosting mushroom. That's just like you would.
Well, they do in North America. They do in North America, and that's why people call me up and go, "Well, I can get this," and I go, "Well, go ahead." I said, if you think you got time, go ahead and do those, and then come to me, because you know what, how do you? It's hard to play that game, practitioner, marketeer. I don't want to play it. I don't want to play it anymore.
We honestly, though, with Dr. Frank in Thailand does it, he almost doesn't even engage. It's sort of like, if you want to read the research, read it, and if you believe it and you want it, come and get it. I'm here. I don't have time to.
That's where I'm at. I'm out there. I'm at that now, and it's the safest spot to be. It's the safest spot. Yeah.
So.
Because it's not safe. It's not safe being in the natural health business. So that's that.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so
is there any other questions that from people watching I can answer whilst I'm still on?
Well, I don't see a lot of questions here tonight. Okay. I think people are mainly just listening. There's a lot of people listening, and they don't have a lot of questions. But when are we on again? Did you mark it down? Because I don't have it here.
Tomorrow we're on again, and then Thursday.
Okay, so tomorrow, everyone.
Thursday, and then again next week, one day.
So
I can't remember.
We're on tomorrow, which is Tuesday. What time? At 5?
5 p.m.
Okay, so 5 o'clock tomorrow, everyone. Please just think about it. Go into the library, do your research, or just from what you listen, come and challenge us, because it's very important that you gotta play the detective. Play the detective. Okay, all right.
I wasn't born into the mushroom. I mean, I did the exact same thing when I was looking for what would help save my mom. I looked at all the different things, and that's where I settled on this one, was because I did the reading. And really encourage you to do it. And any questions you have, please welcome to ask them on the shows.
And I just want to say, if I can say this, I set my phones up wrong. So we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. The Instagram is supposed to be over here. The TikTok is supposed to be over here. So I'd have to take the phones off. There are a couple of questions, but please, if you can come back on tomorrow, I'll have the phone set up properly. Okay?
Tomorrow we'll answer them tomorrow.
I will. I promise you, if I will be set up, and I will be interrupting Oliver every time a question comes on. I promise. Okay?
Fantastic. Okay, so we'll catch you tomorrow, 5 p.m.
Okay, we will. And thank you, Oliver. And get ready, because this is a deep topic, isn't it?
Yeah, I do really appreciate the chance to share. I mean, look, even if only if like many people watch, but only one person listens and takes action, maybe it's gonna help their life in some way. So it's
we know it's gonna be. We know it's gonna be. But guess what? The thing is that I just want to say this: there's no dumb people over there, anywhere. They're not dumb. People are not dumb. They're just programmed. And understand something. Somebody comes out of the blue, starts talking like this, and they've been told there's no help except this. That's it. And then somebody comes on a Facebook Live or an Instagram or TikTok and goes, "Hey, listen, there's enough research here, 40 years of it, and we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people have already done this progress, haven't they?" And I mean hundreds of thousands. We're not talking about a few people here. So everybody needs to wake up to the fact. Just because I've only been involved in them for 2 years, we're talking about 40 years and hundreds of thousands of people.
Huge industry. Yeah, huge industry.
You have no idea how big this is, people.
No, you're just the only guy in the States. But over here, it's like big business.
I'm the only one in North America carrying these. And guess what? What was the biggest product that they utilized during COVID in Asia. Thank you. The Thunder Shrooms. You need to get that. So people just know this. They already know this stuff.
We did a lot of medicinal mushrooms in Asia for COVID management, inflammation. Yeah, very true.
And if I can say this, everybody.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll be tomorrow 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Perfect. See you then.
See you then, my friend.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye. So just know this, everybody, that if you missed a show, any show, if you go to Braveheart Nation or Doc of Detox, not Dr. Detox, Doc of Detox or Braveheart Nation, if you go there, you can catch any of our shows on Telegram. You can go all the way back and catch them on Telegram. And everything we do, and even the stuff that gets pulled down on other platforms, is going to be on Telegram. It also goes to Rumble. I think it takes 2 days to get there. But everything from today will go there. Let me see here. It's too hard to get at them, guys. I'm going to have to answer the questions tomorrow. But just know, we do have our Black Friday sale on. So take a look at it if you want to take advantage. But if not, take advantage of my library. It is the biggest self-help, self-care library. And it's all about massive take action. Go into the do-it-yourself guide. Learn how to fix your eyes, your sinuses, your ears, okay? Tomorrow, I'm going to be coming on tomorrow morning. I'll be on early. It'll probably be about 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. But it's the only time I have, I think, tomorrow. When's my first show tomorrow? Do you know? Can you see it, honey?
The what?
My first show. Yeah, and when do I have shows? I'm going to tell you exactly when I'm coming on. And tomorrow, I'm going to go live on the rug, and I'm going to show you guys something. Look I am really healthy. And I don't know why this happened, but my left hip used to go out all the time when I was younger. And I was like walking like Mr. Stickman like this, as if my back was frozen, because my hip was killing me. And I mean, it was really bugging me for the last 6 days, but we've been so busy doing things. So last night, I went and did clapping with the clapper, which is right here. And I did shot glass work, used the DMSO and the essential oils. It's 90% better today. So, do your own medicine, Daryl. So I'm going to show people with hip problems. And if you were to do this now, you wouldn't end up in surgery. And even if you're booked for surgery, what is it, honey? Did you look at it? Can you tell me? Can you see it? I'll wait for you. And then I'll jump right back here.
Okay, so you've got 1 o'clock with Terry?
Oh, it's at 1 o'clock? That's the first one?
First one, yeah.
Okay, then I will come on at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And because I've got between patients and that, I'm booked for the day. So I will come on at 10 o'clock and I'll show you how to do the hip. But listen, if you go in my Real People, Real Healing Guide, you can go in and I showed already, okay, how to do your ankle. I'm serious. If you've got ankle problems, how to do your knee. Tomorrow I'm going to show your hip, how to do the hip. I'm going to show the whole body, and I'm going to show you as many tricks that I can, okay? Because the reality is wouldn't it be great if I did enough shows and did enough things that have put natural health people out of business? Wouldn't that be great? Seriously, wouldn't it be great if you realized that instead of being a patient, you need to become your own practitioner? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great if you went from a victim to a hero? And that's what this is all about. You know what? Anybody out there that's trying to badmouth me or think that, oh my God, he's so on the go. What is he up to? What's he up to? I'll tell you what I'm up to. I'm up to touching every person's heart in this world. Okay? Unconditional love, unconditional care. I'm coming out in April with what's called the Braveheart Nation app. It'll be the most powerful unconditional love app with trainings that you've ever seen in your life. We have our own TV platform. We'll have about 120 when we're done, 120 people coming on weekly for 15 minutes a week and teaching you things, everything from gardening to electroculture, permaculture, raw foods, you name it. I'm gonna let brilliant people come in different languages all over the world, and they can come on my platform for free to teach you. And this is what we're up to, so just so you know that. And then I'm heading off to Mexico right now. I live in the United States and I live in Mexico, and I'm going back to Mexico, and I'll be there for a few months because January, we're kicking off our world tour, and I will be going into 5 different countries, and I will be doing 11 major trainings. So what we'll be starting off with in Ixtapa is the Whole Life Coach certification, which is the most deep and intense whole life coach you'll ever do. If you've ever wanted to find your authentic self, I promise you by the 3rd day we'll be there. Did you hear what I said? The 3rd day of the course, you'll be there, and you'll learn how to stand with your inner power, and how you can lovingly tell your family, your friends in the world that you love them, but you are going to live your life, find your passion, get your gift, and that's it. That's it. You won't be compromising what you eat, drink, and think anymore because you need some love from somebody. That's not going down anymore. That won't go down anymore. I'm serious. And if you bring your partner, we'll change your life forever. And if you're a health practitioner and you're a whole life coach now, come to mine for one day and come free and see. And I promise you're not a whole life coach like you could be. All right, I've been doing this since I was 28 years old. I'm 67. Even if I'm dumb as a stump, I've been doing about anywhere from 6 to 11 of these a year. What do you think I've learned? Okay, so you know, sometimes you might think I'm a little harsh, but the reality is guess what? There's a new world coming, but before that new world gets here, there's going to be chaos and disturbance. And I want to try to wake up everyone that was just on the edge of waking up. I want to take people to the cliff and show them what could happen, and then pull them back and give them a hug and say, look, we're in this together. All right? That's my message. Okay? So check out my library. It's free. And just know this, that you're the love that you've been looking for. Go figure, right? You want to do mirror work. You want to do love band work. This is a kiss. Snug as a hug. 3, 2, 1, I got this. This is you clicking this. And you may click this maybe even 5 times, 10 times every hour until you learn that it's unconditional love. And until you have unconditional love and care for yourself, you'll never stay in the present moment. So you're never going to heal yourself. And if you do, it'll be what? Willpower. And then you'll be exhausted. So will your family. What if you loved yourself? Wow, the highest vibrational thing in the world is loving yourself. And remember something, no matter what the stories are, no matter if they're 10,000 years old, that which created the universe has always loved you and never judged you. And so I'm just calling BS on that one, okay? So you can take that to the bank or not. But just what? And people go, oh, you'll get yours, Daryl. I absolutely do. I have a smile on my face, and I'm connected to my breath, and I love and care for myself, and I know that I need to do that for everybody else. So, let me just say this. I am love, I am healed, I am Braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment I rise until I close my eyes, I will love, honor, respect, and protect myself first and foremost before anyone else, so help me God. Because I am, I can, I'm healed, I'm love, I'm Braveheart. Have a great night, and we'll see you again.